And we welcome you inside Curtis Granderson Stadium. It's the first full day, day 2 overall of the MLB Nike RBI Central Regional Tournament. And the 18U Baseball Division sees Kansas City Royals, Nike RBI, and the Cincinnati Reds, Nike RBI. Kevin Malater joined by Ryan Sikora all day long. And Ryan, this is a Reds RBI team that just missed out on the finals a summer ago, 3-1, but they fell just short when they mattered most. They look for revenge with a relatively new team.
Yeah, brand new. A lot of new guys, a lot of new coaches as well. It's kind of this weird spot where the Reds are trying to figure out how to get over the hump, but trying to do that with an entirely new group. It's a really challenging thing for a coaching staff to really try and take the next step when you've rinsed and replaced almost everybody on the roster.
It'll be Bishop, Oliver, Calderon, and Suarez to lead things off for Kansas City. And the first pitch from Alex Smith is popped and bunted, fouled off. And we are underway here. 8:31 local time first pitch. First of 5 games today on the 18U baseball side here at Curtis Granderson Stadium. As the remainder of pool play has officially opened up following last night's tournament opener. This is on the ground to first. It is bobbled there by Hill, and he's unable to recover it. Smith dropped that ball as well. So a couple of possible errors there, and Bishop Oliver is aboard.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, Ali Bishop Oliver led off for this Royals squad last year, 5'5", small box to go and throw to. He's got a lot of speed. He's a good contact. He never really gets out of the infield, and that was textbook right there. He just legged it out, got in favor of a couple of drop balls, and stands on first. That's a good start for the Royals.
So here's Calderon, the catcher. He will look to try to advance Bishop Oliver here. Kansas City in the tournament last summer are not big supporters. They're getting support from the Cincinnati side as Kansas City lost, which is how Cleveland got into the championship game.
That was a goofy little move by the pitcher there to kind of just underarm toss it almost over to first, try and catch Bishop Oliver off guard. I was listening to you, I promise.
Alex Smith is someone that Roosevelt Barnes, the team's head coach, says a guy to really look out for. They like just how he's always able to attack the strike zone, Ryan.
It's an important skill as a pitcher when you can just find a way to pound the zone, force guys to make a move on you. If you're missing, guys can just sit there, keep the bat on their shoulder.
Fouled off there. And it's 0-1. So Calderon is fighting right here after a couple of pickoff attempts from Smith. Suarez, then Navarro to follow it up, followed by Sanchez, Gonzalez, Bryant, Stanley, and Finley. That one misses, and the count evens it out. First of 5 games today from Curtis Granderson. Each team opening up their tournaments. This is a ground ball to second, and they will turn to 4-6-3. The combination of Lomax to Collier on to first for Hill.
Textbook turn in the 2, and that was fantastic by the second baseman. Shortstop checking over, gets to his spot. Calderon doesn't have the speed to beat that out.
So Calderon, who's got some power in his bat, grounds out, and this is to Lomax again, and he will end the inning. So nothing comes of the leadoff reach on an error. A double play cleans it up. We're going to the bottom of the first here on the Windy City Sports Network. Welcome back. Bottom of the first. No score after a clean defensive inning for Cincinnati. They go to the offense for the first time today, and this is one of the guys that the coaching staff highlighted. Robert Gonzalez, the leadoff man. You got to expect the speed here to play a factor in that, Ryan.
He's very fast. I can't say I know that for sure, but I'm expecting him to be. I also can't see right now, I'm not going to lie. It's hard.
That misses downstairs, ball 1. And so that's how the game would start for Stockland, the Kansas City pitcher. The right-hander gets the start on day number 1. This is on the ground at third for Gonzalez. And there's one gone in the inning on 2 pitches. So quick work there of Gonzalez. He made that play a lot closer, though, than it probably normally is. And that brings up Avery Battle, the right fielder.
Big kid. You can kind of see the clear game plan out of the gun is to get Gonzalez on the path and see if Battle can bring him into scoring position or bring him all the way around.
That's ball 1. A little bit high. Yeah, he's someone, when he walked in the game, I think everyone was kind of like, whoa, he is tall.
He's a fella. He's big.
Inside, 2-0.
Changes up how you pitch to guys like that as well. Your zone gets so different. Hard to attack in different spots when you're trying to change it around all game, when you've got different size advantages and trying to take advantage of different heights.
Make it 3-0 now, and I'm wondering here if they're just going to just throw a ball here and make it ball 4. So it's a 3-0 count. Reds searching for their first base runner of the game, and it will come right there as Battle works a 4-pitch walk.
That's a good start. Battle sits in, takes 4, 3 on the inside of the plate. Puts himself on the base path, and now we saw a double play in the top of the first. This is a double play opportunity here with maybe a similar 4-6-3 potentially in the play.
Bishop Oliver has tournament experience. He's the shortstop for Kansas City. A roster that contains, give or take, 5 guys with tournament experience, depending on the level they were at last year in terms of their age. That one misses away. It's 1-0 to Noah Collier, the shortstop for the Cincinnati Reds senior Nike RBI program. Reds last year 3-1 in this event. Royals didn't have the tournament they liked or wanted. They dropped their first 2 games on the Friday to both Ohio teams, Cincinnati and Cleveland, as that one misses high, and it's 1-0.
They've got to make the longest trip out of anybody. That certainly has to play effect. They've not got the biggest support. It's just pretty much them and a couple of parents. It's always hard to make those long trips and short notice to make these tournaments happen and be successful in them.
They said it was about a 10-hour bus ride.
That's miserable.
That right there is that's just minor league baseball right there for you, if anything.
And it's miserable, but it's also probably the time of your life if you're a player where it's like you want to get there, you want to get off this bus, but at the same time you're playing cards, you're having fun.
Carolina missed there, make it 3-1.
Yeah, Stockline, who really struggled with his command the first couple, walked Battle in 4 pitches, got behind 3-0 in this one, and has now finally found 2 strikes to find.
Gives a glance at Battle on first. Runner goes on the full count pitch, and it's popped up foul. Three and two once again is the count. And they said last night was a relatively easy night on the players. They said after the bus, they just came here to the ballpark, grabbed the dinner that was served to all the teams as part of the opening ceremonies, and they headed back to the hotel and just rested up. I'm sure probably that bus ride, and they got the brutal brunt of that 10-hour bus ride yesterday, as that's going to be ball 4 to Collier. There's a little hesitation there. Or will it be? Now it's a full count, I guess.
Scoreboard had it wrong.
Home play umpire now saying it's a 3-2 count. So, battle by virtue of him going off the scoreboard thinking it's a 3-2 count, gets a stolen base, and now Collier follows it up with a walk. So 2 men are aboard here, and the schedule makers were not too kind to them. Tower bus ride, and they get the 8:30 local time first pitch on day 1.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why they're so easy. They show up to the team dinner. They show up to the opening ceremonies. They go back to the hotel. They sleep because they know they got to get back to business early in the morning the next day.
This is in the air to left center field. Long run for Suarez and Bryant. It's the center fielder Bryant do his right to make the grab. 2 gone in the inning. Not an easy play, trying to judge that outfield for the first time as an outfielder. But Bryant made it look easy.
Yeah, that's got to be the toughest adjustment for anybody to make this tournament, that outfield role, especially center. You're covering so much more ground. It's College Park. You're not playing on a high school field anymore. You're trying to find your way. Which ball is yours? If you're a center fielder and you think you can get to it, it's obviously your ball to take, but it's such a judgment call when the grass gets so much bigger and wider to make that decision.
There's a man who has some tournament experience at the plate. You may recognize the name from last year. It's Connor Sitter, the extra hitter for Cincinnati Nike Reds RBI. Sitter, the EH in the lineup, the extra hitter. He's hitting in place of the pitcher Alex Smith, and he goes up 2 balls and no strikes in this at-bat. You got to think here, Ryan. 2 on, 2 out. This is a golden opportunity early on for the Red side to take advantage and strike first.
I'd certainly hope so. Again, this was such a good team because of their fast starts.
The Sitter pops the 2-0 up on the infield. It's the pitcher Stockline who makes the catch with Calderon, the catcher, sliding into him. So we're for an inning of play, no score. Reds leave a pair on WCSN. Top of the second inning, still no score after each side traded scoreless first. Gavin Later here with Ryan Sikora as the designated hitter Miguel Navarro leads things off for the Royals in this inning. And he lines that one to left for a base hit. So the first hit of the ball game comes off the bat of Miguel Navarro to lead off the second inning.
Good piece of hitting. Finds the opposite field. Just drop one down where nobody's at, and aggressive early. You want to see that in early games like this. Wake yourself up. Don't let the other team wake up first. You want to take it to them in these morning games.
So that'll bring up now Elijah Sanchez, the first baseman. Sanchez from Lincoln College Prep, class of 2024, so he'll be going into his senior year. Runner goes, the pitch misses away. The throw from Bramall is not nearly in time, and Navarro has a stolen base.
Yeah, that had to have come out wrong. It almost looked like he got bumped on the way through, how badly that came out. It barely got over the bump. Navarro does not look like the type to steal bases either.
DH, you don't typically have him running that often, especially in that early scenario, but I guess in these type of tournaments, you want those fast starts. Every team has talked about that so far. Ryan, and you and I were here to witness it last year. It's definitely an interesting case that you're trying to score first and just score as many as you can early on.
It's a race against the clock as much as it is a game of innings, right? You've got a 2-hour time limit. You want to jump out to a lead. You'd much rather protect the lead than play from behind against that clock. It's something that I think a lot of these teams, especially with you've got high school kids that are anywhere from 18 to 16, you're looking to maybe get them off their nerves as well. If you can jump out to an early lead, you can get in a kid's head pretty easily.
3-1 is grounded to the opposite side. Hill, the first baseman, takes it, tags the bag. Out number 1. So an easy out there, something that Smith needed. And so far, through now an inning and a third, Ryan, what's your early impressions here of Alex Smith?
I think he's got some control problems at times, but when he gets going, he's putting it in the zone. This Royals team's been really aggressive against him, and that's caused him some problems because when he's missing, they've been smart to sit back. But when he's putting it in the zone, they're not afraid to go and swing. We saw that with Navarro's ball. First pitch, comes in, finds the area, he puts it into the outfield for a base hit. And now, I mean, the important thing after that last one there, Sanchez advances Navarro to scoring position in third base. He's right on there.
Popped up, right side, out of play.
That's one of the few ones we've seen them go and chase down low. That's where Smith has missed a couple times. He's missed it up and in and down and low.
This is Jesus Gonzalez who takes that one up and in. Gonzalez is playing third base today for this Royals side in game number 1 on the day, and he goes down swinging. Yes, that'll be out number 2 here in the inning. So 2 gone, and up comes the center fielder in Saran Bryant, and he swings at the first pitch, grounds this to Lomax at second, and the inning comes to a close. So the Royals get the man on third, but they aren't able to bring him home. Bottom of the second, up next after this. No scores at the bottom of the second. Williams, Grammel, and Hill lead things off for Cincinnati. Well, now Williams, the left fielder. A quiet day so far, as Alex Smith, the Reds pitcher, has induced a lot of weak contact defensively.
Yeah, not much to do. He obviously picked up that single from Navarro out there in left, and you're really looking for a bat from Williams to wake the Reds up now. We saw Kansas City get going. They got a guy to third, almost got him all the way around. Now can Cincinnati wake up and get going in the early morning?
That's a strike, and it's 2-1.
That's a really good pitch from Stockline.
Right-hander's 2-1 pitch misses inside, a breaking ball. First of 2 games today for each side. They will face Indianapolis and Minnesota in their latter games today, and then the round robin completes tomorrow. As that's hit hard on the ground, but there is Finley at second base to make the play. So after getting ahead in the at-bat, Williams chases and he is put out here in the second inning.
Yeah, you don't want to let a guy like Stockline get out in front. He's very, very solid. He's missed on those 2 walks to Battle and Collier in that stretch, but other than that, a really flawless 4 at-bats around those 2.
Here is the catcher for Cincinnati. It's Evan Grammel. Grammel takes that one for ball 1. And he smacks this one on the ground. Can you believe it? Another ground ball to second. Finley is up with it, and there's 2 away.
I think my favorite part about Stockline so far is you look at the different options he's thrown out there. He's got 3 ground balls now and 2 pop-ups. The fly out to center field from Sanchez, and the pop-up back to the pitcher from Sitter. And then a couple of ground balls now back-to-back to Finley, and then one got to the third baseman from Gonzalez. That led off the game. So they're spreading it out. He's doing a good job of getting all of his defensive guys some work.
That's a fastball that misses high. It's Isaiah Hill, the first baseman. Hill has been very busy defensively. He did have that error back in the first inning, but he's made up for it with a couple of nice defensive plays on being on the back ends of a double play at one point as well. 2 balls and no strikes is the count. Make it 3-0 now.
This is really good patient stuff from Hill. He's just waiting for his pitch, and now he's got a free opportunity to swing away.
Ball 4, and it's a 4-pitch walk for Hill. The second time Stockline has walked a batter on 4.
Yeah, that's what you want to see from your 8-9 guys. Just, you don't have to do everything too much. You just got to get on base. Let's get on base. Let's turn it back around to the top and let them drive you in. That's what you want to see from Hill, and then especially a guy like Lomax who's going to have the speed to get it back to Gonzalez. If he can get on the path and you can put 2 guys on, Gonzalez and Battle can certainly bring them in.
The second baseman, Nate Lomax. We talked about how Hill was busy. How about this guy already? He's been having to wake up early here in order to make some defensive plays. One-0. Backhanded by Calderon to keep it in front. Hill off first, and before that last pitch, Kansas City defense was saying, watch the steal. Brian, is this a scenario where you want to see Hill running here?
I don't think so, not for me at least.
On the ground at third, Gonzalez stabs at it, low throw, but it's scooped up there by Sanchez. A good defensive play on the back end to get the guy at first. We're through 2, it's scoreless. top of the third inning. There is still no score. It's the 8-9 on top of the order. And first pitch swinging, a base hit there to center field off the bat of the right fielder for Kansas City in Jackson Staley.
And again, we see it. First pitch of the inning, they swing away, they fire it out into the outfield, get a base hit. That's Kansas City waking up, taking the game to Cincinnati like they didn't do a lot last year. A lot of times it was responsive from Royals Nike RBI, trying to figure out how to stay alive in games. This time, they're really going after it, trying to attack the early morning game here.
Dante Finley is the number 9 hitter. And a year ago, these two teams on day one played the second game of the 4 in the pool play. At the time, the pool was Cincinnati, Kansas City, Minnesota, and Cleveland in a different formatted round robin than this year. This year is now traditional pools where now it's one out of each.
That was a good memory.
Thank you.
I didn't think you had it in you.
No one does, especially when it's 9:02 local time. And an early wake-up call for us as well.
Time is time. You just got to wake up. You just got to carry the boats, Kevin. You got to get to work.
Who's carrying them?
I am. I'm awake. I'm awake.
You are awake.
I'm wide open.
Let's go. I'm pumped. This is the first of 5. We got 6 tomorrow. The two of us do.
Yeah, we'll see if I'm awake tomorrow by game 5. But that's not the challenge, I think, for me with this long week. Because I'm up now. I think the challenge is 11 games in 2 days. Is game 10 going to catch me?
I think it'll be game 11 of all games, would it not?
Well, I might get caught before the last game. You never know.
Second wind.
Don't want to get caught at the finish line. If you're going to get caught before, so at least you know you lost. Right? That's a horrible mentality.
We're in Chicago, and so I think it's safe to say that Michael Jordan would be so disappointed that that's your mentality.
You think Mike still has a home here?
I
don't think so.
I think he does, because I thought he's still trying to sell it, I thought.
What's he been trying to sell it for the last 15 years?
Yeah.
Must not be a very good home. He's got to lower the price on that thing.
Oh, look out there. That was smashed right into the Kansas City dugout. Let's hope everyone's okay. Everyone appears to be okay down there. Thank goodness.
They're giving Finley some grief. Teammate to teammate.
That's a hey, straighten it out that way. They're pointing out towards right field and center field.
Swing a little earlier, Dante. Come on.
1 ball and 1 strike. They check in on the runner. Safe there is Staley.
And this is now the second straight time they've gotten a leadoff guy on, and I guess you can count Bishop Oliver as well. The leadoff guy's been on in all 3 innings, and all 3 of them have been pretty eager to get on over to second. There's a lot of speed, a lot of aggression that's causing a lot of problems for the Reds.
Time is called. It is Finley who makes it. 7-inning game, by the way. It's the high school rules, so there's no pitch clock as well. Courtesy runners in all 2. Ground ball weakly at the first. Hill will just take it to the bag himself. Up to second on the play goes Staley. He had a decision to make whether he would go himself or Smith, and either way got the out.
And I think it's a slightly different scenario than when Bishop Oliver caused the E3 and even the drop from the pitcher as well in the first inning. But I think that was Hill making the decision of, like, I'm not going to put it into anybody else's hands. I'm going to make this decision myself, get on over there and step on the bag.
So that brings up the top of the order, and it is Ollie Bishop Oliver, a man who played in this tournament last year. He's already reached on an error, so officially 0 for 1 as that one goes to the backstop. Staley on his way for third. The throw gets it away, and it goes into left field. Staley on his way to the plate. The throw in from Williams is not in time, and Kansas City grabs an early 1-0 lead on some Harden hustle.
That's the idea, right, isn't it? Staley, he was aggressive on the first base. He got over to second after the really good stuff from Finley to ground over on the first base line, and then 1 ball gets through the quick Bishop Oliver. He's on over to third, sliding down and away. It's not the greatest throw from the catcher behind home plate, Grimmel, and he's got an easy opportunity. The left fielder, Williams, couldn't find a way to get it on the mark either, and that's Kansas City being aggressive, being awake in an early morning game. We talk about it with these travel ball tournaments all the time. The team who's awake at 9 a.m. for the first game of the tournament, oftentimes they're the team that wins. And when you can win your first game, that sets you up so well for the rest of your tournament. It's often the most important game. You lose your first one, you're down in the dumps, you're struggling to claw your way back up. It's better to play from ahead.
That's a fair ball. Sanchez gloves it, a long throw, and he did not get him. It's a foul ball after all.
Yeah, it looked like it was scooped up by Sanchez just maybe a foot on the wrong side of the line. And even still, close play. Bishop Oliver is so quick. It's a challenge to go from Finley to Bishop Oliver. That 9-1 is going to have some crazy speed to deal with today.
2-2 from Smith. He gets him swinging. Took something off of it. And it's a important second out here in the third inning. So I'll bring up the two-hole hitter and Rolando Calderon, the catcher who is going into his junior year of high school, class of 2025. 4.63 double play his first time up. And plate appearance number 2 results in a hit by pitch. And it creates some noise down from that first base side.
It's good for Calderon. 2 outs, get on the base path. That's not the cleanest pitch, and they're going to have a talk. I wonder if they'll take the ball away from him this early. That'd be pretty catastrophic for Kansas City. I imagine Stockline gets another chance.
They said pregame that the plan for him to go a couple of innings and see where they're at. Every coach is different about how they manage their pitchers. You got some guys like last night where you saw Vari Thunderbird of the White Sox Nike RBI program going 6 2/3 in a 7-inning game because he had the shutout going at the time, eventually gave up the lead. And then you have coaches in this scenario where they're looking at the long game of sorts, and you're down there, you're putting pen to paper, you're doing the lineup card, you're managing the pitching staff. What's the strategy in a tournament which you're playing so many games in so few days, and pitch counts have a factor in all of the decisions as well.
Yeah, for me, this first game is so important. I'm riding my best guy till I can't anymore. And if Stockline's your best guy, you take him till he's either failed you in this game or he's hit a limit for himself. And or Smith rather, I apologize. But that's kind of what you're trying to do is you're saying, you're my guy, win me this first game, and we'll go from there. Because the likelihood is that if he can win you the first game, he's got 2 games off on maybe, let's say, the Saturday, the Friday, and then he's got another game off today, 2 games off tomorrow, and maybe
got him at first on a pickoff.
And then he can do that.
Saves him a couple of pitches and gets him out of the inning. But the Royals take an early 1-0 lead. The Reds look to respond when you come back on the Windy City Sports Network. We're in the bottom of the third, and now it's response time for Cincinnati Reds Nike RBI. Ryan, before we were so rudely interrupted.
Introduced?
Yeah.
We were rudely introduced?
We were rudely interrupted, I
knew I
should
didn't
say.
like you for a reason.
Same can be said for me. That's line but caught out there by Bryant in center field.
And again, there's the Reds coming back, finding some of that aggression, starting to wake up maybe, starting to swing at stuff they're seeing come across. And Gonzalez, that's the guy you want to start it off, that leadoff hitter. It's a little late the second time through now. Can you adjust to the pitcher stock line and try and find a way to find some gaps, get more aggressive, get on base, and turn that into some runs?
Battle walked and stole second base his first time up, and he's hacking there. When we were talking about, though, the pitching snaps and how you go about managing, and you're of the view of, hey, game one, my best guy is getting it, and he's going as long as he possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch college baseball, it's Jay Johnson at LSU. You're my guy. He's telling the best pitcher in baseball, the number 1 overall pick, Paul Skeens, I'm throwing you day one because you're my guy. And he did that for the SEC tournament. He did that for the NCAA tournament. He did that every time he could. You're the number 1 guy. You're going to throw in my opening game because we're going to set the tone. And we're going to ride you till we can't ride you anymore. And
right field and caught on a line again. That is Staley coming in to make the catch that time. So 2 lineouts into the outfield start the third inning.
And I just think that that's such a confidence booster for everybody around. The other 8 guys on the defensive side of things, when you're basically telling your pitcher, hey, you're the dude today. We're working for you. You're working for us. And that's going to be the vibe today. I just think it exudes confidence from a team. I like that. And I like that we saw that yesterday from the White Sox team. Riding Thunderbird till 6 2/3 till he gave up a run was just, hey, we're the White Sox. We're the best team here. We're going to act like it. We're going to play like it. We're going to control what we can control. And you're the best arm out here. You're our best arm. Go out there and be that. There's nothing easier to tell a guy than, hey, do what you're supposed to do.
So no balls and a strike now to Collier, who also walked his last time up, and he swings and pops this one up. Bishop Oliver and Gonzalez go out there. It's Bishop Oliver, the shortstop, who lays claim to it, and it's a quick third inning on the mound for Stockline. We're for 3. It's 1-0 KC Royals, Nike RBI on the Windy City Sports Network. Fourth inning begins with a fastball on the inside corner for a ball to Suarez. It's 3, 4, and 5 due up for the Royals, who are currently leading here on day 2 in game number 1 of 5. First of 2 for both these teams today. As Smith slips there, and the count goes to 2-0.
And we'll see what the decision we were obviously just talking about in the last inning, how teams are choosing to go about their pitchers on day number 1, especially when you're pitching on Friday. It's easier to ride your guy on a Thursday because you get a longer break, you get him to rest a little bit more.
That one's up the middle and through for a base hit by Suarez, so another hit for the Royals. That's their 3rd of the ball game.
They're just finding gaps, aren't they? And I think that's the biggest thing that Kansas City has done so successfully is you look at Navarro, who got the first hit of the game. He pushed it up and over into the left field area. Look at Staley, who got on with a base hit out there, and it was really good hitting from Suarez to push one right up the middle between the two inside infielders.
They check, and he is safe. Remember that Calderon got picked off to end the third inning. But you talked about the Thursday night benefits. Want to add this in there as well. If you play on Thursday night, last year at least the format worked where if you played on Thursday night, you only had one game Friday.
Yep. You get a little more rest. Your boys that aren't just the arms, you know, they can get a break. They can go to the pool. They can, if you're the White Sox or the Cubs, you can go home, hang out in your city. It's a very important thing in my mind, just from a relaxation perspective of like, hey, you played on Thursday, you got one game out of the way, you win, you lose, now you know what your job is the rest of the way. You lose on Thursday, well, you're in last place. You got to climb up the ladder. You win, it's just, hey, survive and advance. Keep doing your job, keep winning.
Fouled off as Suarez was running on the pitch.
And I mean, you get that break. It's so important for not only the physical stuff, but the mental of like, I don't have to worry about baseball as much today. As much as these guys want to worry about baseball every day, I'm certain of that. It's nice to get 3 hours of baseball instead of 7.
In the air to left field, coming in as Williams. It drops in front of him for a base knock. So 2 on here on back-to-back singles to start the 4th inning for KC.
Yeah, Williams didn't read that correctly. He came in a little too wide. He should have beelined for the spot. It's hard to read that up there. There's no sun, really. The cloud cover has got a nice little shade over the field. He's just got to get there. He's got to buy into it. Now, of course, you can't buy into it on this big of a field because if he misses that, that's gone for 2, maybe 3 with how much he could have committed to it. But you almost want him to come in more aggressively there, try and make a play on it because, boy, Suarez was already at second. You have a chance to potentially turn 2.
Right off of that one. So far, both sides are trying to take advantage of the base runners. Last night, runs came at a premium in both games until the 15U game where it busted open in the 7th inning as that one is off the glove of Grammel and both runners advance on a pass ball.
All right, it's small ball time, and that's all it is for Kansas City. Push one down the right field line, push one into the outfield territory, see if you can get Calderon or Suarez in. And then from there, it's the same idea.
Big cut there on a breaking ball over the outside corner.
And that's what you can't do. You can't chase. You can't let the pitcher get you out of your zone. You've got to just kind of dominate your area.
Now the wind up to 2-1. Front doored him that time, and he evens it out.
That was pretty. Slammed it right shut on him.
Smith works out of the windup despite 2 runners on. And he got him. He fell behind 2 balls and no strikes. He works back nicely and gets a big first out.
I'm not really happy with that at bat from Sanchez, and I think if you're Kansas City, you're thinking the same thing. You got out in front, you swung and chased away, you got caught by a really good pitch from Smith, but then you swing at another one, low and away. You're going after it. This is the second mound meeting here, so I think even with that K, I think they've seen enough. And now it's all about what changes for Kansas City. Can you find a way to adjust to the new pitcher immediately to get just one of these guys across?
So Alex Smith's afternoon is done. Andres Inez will come in and pitch, and we will step aside for a moment. You're watching this presentation of the 2023 MLB Nike RBI Central Regional Tournament here on the Windy City Sports Network. So Inez has completed his warm-up tosses. Smith, his morning is done after 3 1/3. So here we go. Golden opportunity here for Gonzalez, Bryant, and possibly Staley. Right-hander working from the first base side of the bump. First pitch swinging, and it's popped up in the shallow right field. Lomax, the second baseman, gives chase. Runner coming home. The throw is in time. The tag, he got him. Double play. Nate Lomax finds a way to get the Reds Nike RBI squad out of the inning.
That's fantastic from Lomax. Tracks it down in his, not really his territory. That could have been the right fielders coming in. It could have been the first baseman tracking back. Lomax goes and gets it. Has to work his way to where he's catching it on the body so he can still make a throw. I think it's a good decision from Suarez to get on his horse and go try. It's just a great throw. We haven't seen a lot of on-target throws today, Cav, but perfect from Lomax and a perfect start for Inez.
We will go to the bottom of the fourth. Reds get some momentum back by great defense. On the mound, and it's a first pitch strike. Quentin Farmer out there after 3 shutout innings from Samuel Stockline. And so now the pressure's on both bullpens, Ryan. And when you're a guy coming into this game right now, what goes through your head the second you touch that mound?
Throw strikes. Try and get guys to work on your terms.
That is roped down the left field line. If it's fair, it could be trouble, but it's foul. Missing extra bases by about 3 feet is the third baseman, Sanchez.
That's unfortunate. About a yard away. And if that had landed in fair territory with Sanchez's ability, he might have been able to certainly get 2, might have had a chance to turn 3, depending on how much trouble it was out there for Suarez.
Breaking ball misses high. It's 1-2.
And again, if you're a pitcher coming into this game, throw strikes. Get the guys on your terms. Get them going. Show them who's the boss.
Upstairs, and the count goes full.
He's missed upstairs now a couple times. All 3 of his balls have been up high.
A few Royals fans in attendance who made the trek from KC getting into it as Farmer gets Sanchez to go down swinging.
They got him with the gas. It's always fun when you can get a guy up high with ball, and then go down low, throw some heat, and get him to really look silly.
So up comes Connor Sitter. The EH is 0 for 1 this morning.
It's the first strikeout for anybody on this Royals staff today.
A lot of groundouts, a lot of weak pop-outs as well.
We haven't really seen anybody test that last liner down the left field line from Sanchez, probably the loudest piece of hitting we've seen today, and that ended up in foul territory.
Sitter pops this one up. Bishop Oliver, the shortstop, calls off Gonzalez, and there's 2 gone.
It was almost disastrous, and it wasn't Bishop Oliver's fault. Gonzalez, everybody in the ballpark could hear Bishop Oliver. Gonzalez just kept his glove out there, was waiting for it. I don't know why he didn't back off. They're talking about it. I think Bishop Oliver, again, captain of that infield, he's going to take anything he can get. If he's got to run all the way over to first base, if he thinks he can get it, it's technically his ball.
Williams takes that one away.
I mean, Cav, that's our third infield pop-up of the day. We've seen, what, 1, 2, 3 balls leave on line drive variety out of the infield today.
One to center field, one to right field, yeah.
Right field, center field, and the one down the left field line that went foul. That's really it. Maybe the fly ball to Sanchez, but that was even still a way up there pop-up.
Curveball misses, so it's 2-1 now.
I mean, getting guys out is so hard. If you can find a way to do it easily, it's the best way to play baseball. They can't win if they can't score, and right now, Kansas City's got 1 run. That's all they need.
So 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 out here in the inning. Farmer out of the lineup fires. Blooped into right field for a base hit. There's the first hit of the ball game and the first hit of the tournament for Cincinnati. It comes with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th inning.
And let's see if that gets the Reds going. Evan Grimmel comes up, and now you've got your chance, right? You've got a guy on. You've got a little bit of momentum. You've seen that you can get a hit off these guys. Try and take it. Williams has some speed. If you can find a way to push it into right field, maybe make the most out of it.
Off the corner to Grimmel. Catcher for Cincinnati grounded out to second base in the 2nd inning. An inning in which all 3 outs were recorded on the ground. Snap throw back to first, and Williams is in there easily. Two ball count. Reds threatening with a runner on first base, and that's been threatening for them. Just the 3rd base runner of the ball game. Fourth. 3 walks in that single, excuse me.
And they had 2 guys. They got battle all the way to second. Felt like an age ago in the 1st inning. Not a lot of noise. Lomax got on with that walk in second. Obviously, that very, very quick 3rd inning where they went 1, 2, 3 off like 5 pitches. It's been not a lot of business for Reds RBI.
Safe there.
And Williams really seems like the first guy who's been on base that has caused some problems. Hill, Battle, and Collie are nowhere near the speed that Lonell Williams has.
3 balls and a strike. The breaking ball misses up and in. So now he's in threat of putting 2 runners on and seeing just a 2nd runner in scoring position. You mentioned the Battle. That's their only runner in scoring position thus far.
Yeah, it was not a pretty start. That was a good pitch. It was really good to find the front door.
3-2 now.
That's a big one. Get yourself going, get out of the inning, get you some motivation.
Runner goes, and this pitch is popped foul. Off the netting. And Williams will have to go back to first.
Just takes one pitch of your Farmer. That's all you're looking for, the right one.
Safe there. Farmer focused on the runner right now. And it's interesting, a lot of time you'll see guys not do that in this scenario, but he's doing it.
I'm not a fan of it. I think Williams, I don't want him to steal. I think you can let him take 2, but obviously you got to throw strikes, and he doesn't there. You can't. If you're going to focus on the batter, which he should have from the start there, all you need is 1 out. Just go get the guy out. Throw strikes, force the issue. I think he was a little too locked in on the runner, Williams, and courtesy runner's going to come in for the catcher.
And it's Craig Smith Jr. off the bench as the courtesy runner. And so up comes Hill. 2 gone, 2 on. 2nd RISP for Reds Nike RBI today. In Williams, who's that lead runner? Hill takes a changeup high, but it's a strike.
And this is where you've got a chance if you're Cincinnati. You've got Hill, whose pull power is out to right field. You've got a speedy guy in Williams in scoring position. Anything out there probably scores him and ties the ball game up.
Spin throw, and he's lucky that Bishop Oliver was paying attention.
Those always scare me, man. I watch them every time, and there's not one time where my eyebrows light up. It's like, that's just silly, man. Like, I get it. He's a threat. Get him into a pickle. Throw to third and make him go backwards. You don't need to let him have you, because there's only bad things that can come from that in my eyes. You rarely see a guy thrown out with that, and he can throw it away into the outfield, and then Williams is all the way around third in to score. It just seems like a weird issue to try and force.
Cut on and miss there. It's 0-2.
And when he's thrown, he's had control. He's getting guys to swing at stuff. So understand your stuff is good. Just go out there and attack the batter. Have a chance to take him out of play. Get your third out. You only need one here. Stop worrying about the runners.
Kick and a pitch. Missed away.
That's a curse. I'm sorry. But still, that was the first time I think I've seen him where he really did not seem locked in on either of the two guys on the path.
Breaking ball sent on the ground to first. Sanchez has it. Inning over. So Reds Nike RBI put 2 on, but nothing come of it. We're through 4. Still 1-0 Kansas City here on the Windy City Sports Network. Top of the 5th inning is here. And the first pitch is lined in the center field, a base hit for Bryant. So that's a good sign. 1 pitch, 1 man on already.
Kansas City's bruised him on the first pitch of every inning. Bishop Oliver got on pretty soon, the leadoff batter in the first with that E3. Navarro came back, a first pitch swinging into left field for a base hit. Jackson Staley led us off in the third, got around to score after a base hit, and Suarez got a base hit as the leadoff man in the fourth, and now Bryant joins the party. That's 5 innings, 5 hits of the leadoff guy.
Skied in short right, caught there by Lomax. 1 gone in the inning.
And that was almost disastrous. You saw Saron Bryant at second base. He thought that was long gone off the bat. He thought it was going to find a gap and just stayed up in the air, popped up high, and he was right on the cusp of potentially being in trouble.
So the 9-hitter Finley, who showed off the speed and made a ground ball at first, a tight play in the third inning. Safe at first is Bryant on the pickoff attempt.
And now you look at these three guys, the guy on the base path, the guy at the plate, and the guy on deck. It's Bryant, who's got a lot of speed, Finley, who's got a ton of speed, and Bishop Oliver, who might be the fastest guy in the tournament.
Fouled it off himself.
So you're just looking at three dudes who can flat out run, and that causes problems. We saw it a lot yesterday. I was over at the softball field. Speed at this level kills you. Baseball, softball, 18U, 15U, doesn't matter. If you've got speed, you can cause a lot of problems at the high school level.
No balls, one strike. Runner goes for second. It's caught and missed. The throw down from Grammel is skipped in there, so a stolen base there eliminates the double play ball. But it's a 2-strike count.
That one still felt weak from Grammel. That's the second throw over to second that he's been well short of. And both times he's tapped the umpire on the back. I don't know if he's hit or been impeded by the umpire twice here, but it has not been a cannon arm behind home plate.
This is a foul ball.
Have you ever seen that happen twice? Where it's I get
No,
maybe a first time where you go back and you don't have the throwing room. And that certainly had to have been what happened because he didn't get that anywhere near second base on the first throw. But for it to happen twice feels a little off to me. It feels a little strange of like, what is like the decision-making process there of, hey, you've got to get up, you got to find a way to find room, and if you're the umpire, there's got to be an agreement sorts of there where there's enough space for you to make your moves.
It's sometimes, if that's the case, you'll see guys who will sometimes step out to the right, step up more before they even wind up in throw. But you're right, it's interesting. I haven't seen that twice to your opponent. 2-2.
I mean, as a righty, you'd expect him to kind of want to. My opinion on it is you want to jump into it, you want to roll up, you want to get up out and throw into it instead of leaning back. It looks like at times he's just getting up and leaning and throwing, and that's why he's not gotten the most power behind it.
2-2. That's the line in the left field. Diving, but not able to make the catch is Williams. Round third now is Bryant. It's a race back to the bag, and he's in there. Second and third with one out. Royals threatening to put on some more.
And there's Dante Finley slashing it up. That was a good effort from Williams. That was the one we were talking about earlier. Not getting underneath it and making an easy base hit. Williams diving for it, making the effort. That's the downside because if he sits in front of it, he's got a runner on third and he's got a runner on first. Now he's got a runner on second and third because he gets through it and he goes past him. And now you've got a lot of speed in scoring positions for Bishop Oliver.
So the top of the order, like you mentioned, Ali Bishop Oliver is 0 for 2. And he skies this one to deep left field. Williams back. He turns, it's over his head and up against the wall. Bryant's in. Finley flying around. Throw to third. Bishop Oliver is out. But the 2 RBI double on a perfectly executed relay, but the Royals grab a 3-0 lead on the play.
Yeah, Bishop Oliver's going to be disappointed, but he doesn't need to be. That's a Royals team that struggled to get run support a year ago. And their little man, the leadoff guy, 5'5", comes up big with a big shot over the head of the left fielder, almost hopped the fence, and he's unlucky. It's a great relay to throw him out at third, but he does his job. Bryant scores, Finley scores, and it's fantastic stuff from KC. And that's a rough one to take off the chest if you're Calderon.
By the way, Sway had a 7.65 relay.
Again, I think the Finley run is going to be unearned. I've got that as an E7 out there. It was, I think, the right decision from Williams to try and go make the play, but he didn't make it and hit his glove. He's got to make that happen. A courtesy run for the catcher Calderon.
Runner on first still. Royals not done yet here in the top of the fifth. Strike there. Right there, you mentioned the stepping out. Bramble did that right there on when he thought the runner was going. 0-1 home. Grinder weakly to the mound. Yanez froze to first, and the inning comes to a close. So the Royals get 2 on the 2 RBI double from Ollie Bishop Oliver. Bottom 5, and the Reds look to respond when you come back. On the top of the order here for Reds Nike RBI, who now trail by 3 after a 2-run inning for Kansas City. Captain later Ryan Sikora with you as the rain begins to increase in speed as this is 1-2. That's going to be an infield single. So the leadoff man is aboard, and we saw the aggression from Kansas City in the top half of the inning on the base paths. Now, an early indicator that maybe the Reds could try to do something similar. It's
a good bunt from Lomax. Lays it down, and smart from the third baseman, Jesus Gonzalez. Don't throw that ball. Again, only bad things come when you make silly decisions and try and outgun a guy who's got a lot of speed. You hold a guy, the leadoff runner. Can Gonzalez get going? Gonzalez in battle. If they can get going, this game can turn like that for this inexperienced Royals or Reds team.
Safe there at first as Roybert Gonzalez, the center fielder who's 0 for 2 today, comes back up.
And that's the big thing, right? We talked about it in the open. This is a Reds team that they were really good last year. They've always had a good pedigree within this program at this stage, but this is a fresh team.
There it goes for another second, not in time. Safe there is Lomax for the stolen base.
And when you're a new, fresh team, you're new to this environment, you're playing an experienced Kansas City team, at least at this stage. You've got guys like Bishop Oliver. You're getting outboxed right now. You got to find different ways around it. You got to get aggressive. You got to steal bases. You got to manufacture runs any way you can.
Round ball. Farmer chooses the backhand it himself, and he makes the play. The third goes Lomax.
Who says pitchers aren't athletic?
Thank you.
Gets down there, gets up, turns around, throws it on over, but Gonzalez does his job, in all honesty, and make sure the speedy Lomax can get to third. This is manufacturing runs, finally. You get your guy on, you steal a second base, you chop one down the left field line, the third base line, and get the guy from second to third, and now you're starting to work your way around the diamond and try and get back in this game, get some run support.
Had to bunt up the first base line. This will score the run. Close play. The ball squirts out on the tag, and he's safe. Battle is aboard, and the Reds are on the board.
Put the ball in play.
Good things happen. So now, this is definitely going to bring some discussion because, A, that looked more like a shove than it did an actual tag, in all honesty, and B, Did the ball come out because of the tag, or is the ball already on the way out? Is probably the other question I ask you, Ryan.
Yeah, the problem here with any decision is that there's no such thing as video review here. And oftentimes when there is no video review, Cav, right, the ump's decision is the ump's decision, and it's going to stand. So you aren't going to win that battle, but as a coach, that's for future battles. That's you coming out there saying, hey, we're here, we're seeing you. Give us something. So that's maybe not right now, but that could be for a later date of like, hey, make sure we're getting it where we need it.
Scoring a bunt, now getting caught off the back of Battle, but he's able to get back in safely. Boy, that was close.
It's now Gonzalez with a chopper bunt-ish type of look, a swinging bunt, and Battle with a bunt that he reaches on, and Collier showing bunt on the early stages as well. So small ball is what they're trying to work with as he cuts away on that one straight back. That's the idea, though. You show your bunt, then you get back into your rhythm, and now you've got the pitcher's timing a little bit off. He doesn't know what you're going to do, and you've got a better chance of just getting on top of it and pushing it out there.
Rain has really picked up here as the 0-2 comes home. That one's rope, but way foul down the right field line. By the way, they ruled the Battle play in E3, so he will not get an RBI for that one.
That's too bad. He knows what he did. And that's why box scores are silly sometimes, right?
A weird technicality.
Some would call it stupid technicality. I mean, I don't know. I think it could be.
He should get an RBI for that, in all honesty. He should, you're right.
But then again, that's the technicality of this. It's weird, he earned it, but
Balk
he
here.
knows.
There's a balk. He knows what he's done, and now he's on second base.
And you've got a guy in scoring position, only one out. It's Collier, your 3 guy, and then Sanchez, who's 4th in the lineup. So, in theory, your most dangerous part of the order.
Collier skies this one right side of the infield. Sanchez, do they get it? No, they can't. Finley undercut it. Now headed for third is Battle. The throw is not in time. First and third on a pop-up single that barely left the infield.
And that one they're going to want back. That was probably Jackson Staley's ball charging in. He had the view of it the whole way. You wonder if the rain, a little bit of wind, you're seeing the flags flow. The wind is pushing out there to right. That ball was continuing to kind of subtly carry, and again, I think Staley, if he wanted to, could have charged in, called him off, and nonetheless, that ball drops, and now you've got runners on the corners. You need another run in this inning if you're the Cincinnati Reds, Nike RBI team.
Safe at first is Collier.
You don't need to get it all back. You've got plenty of time left. We're in the bottom of the 5th, so you've still got, in theory, 2 full frames to go because you're in the bottom half. So just get yourself back in there. 3-2, put some pressure on and see how the Royals respond.
Collier breaks and he was hit by the pitch. The bases will be loaded. What a development here in the 5th inning. The game's tying run now stands on second base.
Yeah, and in some ways, though, fortunate for Kansas City there. That ball got past the catcher, and if that doesn't graze the elbow of Collier, coming in to score is Avery Battle, without a doubt.
So meeting on the mound here for Kansas City. They have no one warming up in the bullpen, which are out in left field here. Both pens are at Curtis Granderson Stadium. They will request a new baseball. The water probably added some serious weight to it at this point. So this is the E.H. Connor Sitter. He's 0 for 2 with 2 pop-outs. He's got Battle on third, Collier on second, and Sanchez on first. Only 1 out.
Looking for a ground ball here. That's all you want out of this. Something to second or something to short.
Popped up right side of the play.
We've seen those middle infielders be pretty successful so far. We haven't seen a lot of ground balls hit to Bishop Oliver, but second baseman Finley's gotten a lot of action, been pretty clean.
Sitter flips this one to shallow right field. Staley come on, he dives and he misses it. In the scores Battle. Collier waved it around. The game is tied. They're gonna try it with Sanchez. The throw is cut off. On at third goes Sitter. They throw this one away. Sitter now is coming to the plate. He will score.
inside the park grand slam to give Cincinnati the lead.
Little League, that was awesome. And Cincinnati, a little bit of misfortune there, and it's tough to follow out there in right field from Jackson Staley. He has a chance to come in. He's a little slow to it. Then he tries to backhand it underneath. That's never something you want to do out there with a ball that's that high. Makes that mistake, has to go back and chase. One's in, two's in. The third was always going to come in. They were going to have the lead, and then the throw gets away, and that's the problem. Again, don't ever challenge stuff, and you want to make that throw because it's the third out of the inning and it's done and dusted, but that's just one of those moments where it's just an unfortunate moment from Kansas City side. And Cincinnati, they forced the issue. This was the most aggressive we've seen them so far. Finally, it got them going.
So now, just like that, the Reds are out in front after being shut down offensively. All it took was some heart and hustle. On the ground is short. Bishop Oliver makes the play, 2 gone.
That's the unfortunate thing, is you were that away from getting out of the inning. Bishop Oliver in that exact spot right there turns 2. Those 2 middle infielders are too fluid from right next to the second base bag to not find a way to get 2 guys out and get a double play to end the inning. But baseball, you miss it by a play, you can miss it by 4 runs like just happened there.
Bramble comes up. Strike there. Walked his last time up. The 8th Red to come up in the inning.
Scorekeeper, how'd you score the inside the Parker?
Triple with an E on the shortstop for the cutoff, or the second baseman. Trying to figure that one out right now. But an error on whoever made the throw that sent that ball up the left field line.
I think it was the second baseman.
I got too caught up in just following sitter.
Left fielder was behind third. The third baseman was on third.
That's a ball, by the way, so it's 1 and 2.
It actually could have been Bishop Oliver because there was Staley coming in. I would imagine in that spot, Finley's going out. So it probably was Bishop Oliver who made that throwing error.
I think officially, I mean, it is an inside the park home run, but I think officially it's probably a triple and an error, but you never know. Maybe the scorekeepers are gracious and they give a home run for that. You never know.
Yeah, maybe the game changers scorekeepers. We do it for real here.
Calling some people out here on a Friday morning.
I don't look at the game changers. Do they do a good job? Depends on the people, I guess.
You can check to see what they put in for that. I haven't seen it yet.
I think it's a triple E6.
Backhanded by Gonzalez at third. A little bit of a high throw, but Sanchez keeps the bat. So we are through 5. Cincinnati, a 5-run 5th inning, highlighted by the Little League moment from Connor Sitter here on the Windy City Sports Network. 6, 5-3. In favor of the Reds now after trailing for most of this one. First pitch taking down low is Navarro. He's got 2 singles today, Ryan.
He's been their most consistent batter, and they need some consistent ABs. I don't think they expected to walk into this inning down 2 runs. It's a cut. He was swinging for that one.
1-1. He's yet to score, though. He's been stranded on 3rd and 2nd, respectively. 1 ball, 1 strike. Make it 2-1 now.
Navarro's not the issue here, it's after him. With Sanchez, who's 0 for 2 today, and Gonzalez, who's struggled as well. Can they get some production after Miguel Navarro if the DH can get on?
Ball 4. Now the tying run comes to the plate.
For Sanchez is probably a simple one in my eyes, by any means necessary. Get on base. And even more importantly, by any means necessary, get big 44 onto second.
Sanchez, like Ryan mentioned a moment ago, 0 for 2, ground out strikeout. That one's lined down the right field line. Could be trouble. It will be. That's a base hit off the bat of Sanchez, his first of the game. He's on his way for second. The throw is cut off. It's a double for Sanchez. And the Royals have the tying run on second base. And he breaks out the flag, too.
That's the best tally of the tournament so far, and rightfully so. A double down the line from Sanchez. Pretty good. The first baseman does his stuff, and 4, 5, 6 are not your speed guys in this lineup. A DH, a first baseman, and then a third baseman. You're looking for guys who can push it into the outfield, can just get base hit after base hit and make something happen. Any means necessary. You put it out there, you put it in play. Good things happen more often than when you don't put it in play. So you're looking at success, a recipe for it. And now you've got the tying run in scoring position right after you gave up 5 runs in the bottom of the 5th.
Navarro's on 3rd, Sanchez on 2nd. A pitching change here for Cincinnati, which means we will step aside for a brief moment here on the Windy City Sports Network. Lomax comes in to pitch. Connor Sitter goes to play second base. They've eliminated the DH here in the top of the 6th inning. 2 on, no one out. So a big spot here for the third baseman Gonzalez. We passed the first pitch up foul.
I'll pose a question to you. They list him on the lineup card as an EH. Is there any difference between an EH and a DH, or is it kind of just whatever you want to call it?
So traditionally in that spot, it's supposed to be a DH. As Lomax hits him here, the EH is traditionally a guy who's in the 10th spot, who does not play the field but just exclusively hits as the 10th hole hitter.
Correct. Okay.
But the DH, though, is typically 1 through 9 when you bat for your pitcher. Or in high school, you can bat for someone else. Sometimes the DH can be batted, it can be used to hit for a left fielder or a right fielder or a second baseman, whatever you want to call it.
All right. I'm here for it.
Here's Bryant, 1 for 2. Outside corner, that's a strike.
This is big. You got no outs. You got the bases loaded. You're only down 2. 2 runs have to cross the plate in this inning at a bare minimum if you're Kansas City.
Kick in the 0-1. Hits him, and a run comes in for Kansas City.
And Lomax's first offering before he plunked Gonzalez didn't look pretty, the one that was fouled back. And then the second one hit him, and then this one hits Bryant. So now you start to really question this Reds team and the pitching depth outside of those first 2 guys. We saw Nez, we saw the starter Smith, and what else do they have? Because Lomax isn't pretty right now.
Got him out in front.
That was a whole lot better. You want more of that from your former second baseman.
No balls, 1 strike. The pitch. Missed upstairs, the county of out. Swing and a miss.
All right, Lomax.
Took something off of it again.
A lot better. When he's not missing upstairs or missing inside, he's not bad. Or missing outside.
That's a wild pitch coming to the plate as Sanchez. The throw is in time to get him. A wild pitch leads to the second out of the inning.
Yeah, he makes up for it there, Cav, doesn't he? That's an athlete for you on the mound. That's a second baseman who's come into the pitcher's spot. And that might have been their best defense there. He misses wide, say, hey, come take home. Oh, nope, I'm here. I'm going to tag you out. It's exactly how you write them up when you put your best athlete on the mound.
Time is called before the pitch.
That's so unfortunate. You don't have the quickest guy in Sanchez trying to take his way.
That's strike 3. Two gone now.
All right, Dante Finley, to you, man.
Gonzalez up there, Bryant on second. Hitter, Randall got the block. Brian Weekly and touched on foul there by Sanchez.
And Finley's happy that one fell foul. Would have been an easy one. Even with his speed, they'd probably just go right on over.
Late on a fastball there, and it's 1-2. He's a strike away from getting out of it.
That'd be big for Lomax to come in, do what he did with 2 plunks, and still get out of it with his team in front.
Time is called.
Whatever your best pitch is, you go to it. It seems to be taking a little bit off of it.
This is in the air to right center field, and that's a base hit. The game is tied. 5-5. Dante Finley comes through.
That is such a clutch piece of hitting from Dante Finley, the second baseman. You get it back up to the top of the order. Now you've got the speed to maybe take two, and here we go. 5-5 ball game.
Bishop Oliver doubled into his last time up. Takes that one below the belt. Ball one.
With a guy like Lomax, who's a little bit of control trouble, small strike zone that the 5-5 Bishop Oliver presents is going to be a challenge. You've got to force him to do that. You've got to force him to take swings. Throw him pitches he thinks he likes, and then he realizes halfway through he doesn't.
On. Swing and a miss. Ollie Bishop Oliver in the 1-2 hole now.
The one he liked, he just missed on it.
One, two. He flips his bat at it. Left side infield. Collier calls it. He makes the grab. We're going to the bottom of the sixth. It's a 5-5 game here on WCSM. Welcome back. 5-5 game. Hill, Lomax in the top of the order comes up here for Cincinnati Reds. Nike RBI looking to, in a sense, steal this one at this point. Taking a 5-3 lead in the bottom of the fifth inning after being behind most of the game. The Royals put up 2 to tie it, but now they have a chance here. This is what they hope to be their last go around with the sticks. Hill today is 0 for 1 for a walk. Takes that one up and away and then gets the second walk of the game. So here's Lomax, who's become the pitcher. Big spot here for him.
8-9. If you can get production here, I know Robert Gonzalez has struggled in the leadoff spot, but pretty much everybody after him had a lot of success in that last inning. They've started to figure it out.
Pulling it back, but taking a strike either way is Lomax. He's 1 for 2. He scored a run back in the fifth inning, part of a 5-run frame for Cincinnati.
Gosh, if you're Kansas City, you got to find a way to win this game.
Bunts it foul, 0-2.
You're the more experienced team. You started off better. You've been the more consistent team with 5 runs, so spread out over 3 innings instead of 5 all. Plunged into one. You've got 9 hits. You've only given up 2 or 3 or 4. You've been really dominant. Start to finish. Be ashamed to lose your opener. They were so close in a couple of occasions last year.
Darn miss. Lomax down on strikes.
That was a big one. Big stuff from the pitcher.
So here comes the top of the order. 1 out, runner on.
What does Farmer have else? Just 2 more outs. Give yourself a team. Give your team 1 more chance.
Just off the plate, ball 1.
You don't have a ton of time either. Got about 15 minutes before this game is done and dusted. Probably enough for the end of this half inning and maybe the end of the top.
Base hit left field off the bat of Gonzalez. So Roybert comes through. It's his first hit of the game and his 4th at bat. First and second.
And just to clarify here, I imagine that time limit is you start an inning, you've got to finish the bottom as well. So if we get to the 7th, we've got to finish the 7th, correct?
That's how I've interpreted
it. I mean,
it.
that would make no sense of like, oh hey, we hit 2 hours. It's the end of the top of the 7th. Game's over. You guys win 6-5. I can't imagine that would go down very well. So. Good piece of hitting from Robert Gonzalez. Comes through, finally figures a way out of it and puts one into the outfield. Can you find 1 more hit to get out there? Maybe you need 2. Hill's not the quickest.
1 out. Right there. Battle flips this one the opposite field and down for a base hit. They will hold Hill at 3rd and they will have him loaded with only 1 out.
And that's where you miss Lomax on the base path. If that's Lomax in that spot instead of Hill, Reds RBI have the lead right now, 6-5. Instead, it's bases juiced and you're a ground ball away from the inning potentially being over. You being stuck at 5-5 and giving Kansas City a chance. And that's, again, all you're saying if you're Quentin Farmer. Get a ground ball. Get it to my 2 middle infielders. Let them turn 2. Let us get out of the inning. All you're asking for. You couldn't do it the last inning. Can you do it this time?
Collier singled and scored on the inside the Parker in the 5th. Two out.
Closer. The first one was way out there. That one stepped a little more towards the plate. Collier's got the opportunity to be real patient with this.
Hard hit base hit down the right field line. Scoring is Hill. Gonzalez around 3rd. They're going to send Battle 2 as this ball's all the way in the corner. He's in. It's a bases clearing triple for Noah Collier. And the Reds take an 8-5 lead.
Big hits, and that's a Reds team inexperienced, still trying to figure it out here in this grand old setting. Didn't matter. The big hits came through. Sitter, who was on the team last year, and inside the park, a little leaguer, gets everybody through on a grandy, and then a bases clearing triple. You've got 7 of your 8 runs off of 2 hits, 2 knocks. That's it, and that's fantastic if you're the Reds. You found a way to just push this game to its limit.
Still another opportunity to add on some more with Manuel Sanchez, the 3rd baseman.
And again, the big thing here, first 2 times through the lineup for Reds Nike RBI, the top half, the first 3 or 4 guys, not a lot of success. The next time through, these last 2 times through, Battle scored, Collier scored, and they've now done it twice. Collier stands on 3rd with a triple. Battle's got 2 runs. They've really put it together over these last couple of frames of getting guys on, forcing the issue, and turning that into run support. And they needed it, and they've really done a good job of coming through. They've now got a cushion, too. That's the important thing. 8-5 is going to be a tough task for Kansas City in the top half of this next inning.
The 0-1 from Farmer. Ground ball, just foul off the 3rd.
Still plenty of time to add on to that 3-run lead.
Only one out still. Sitter, who had the inside the park granny, is on deck. 0-2. Ball foul. Staying alive is Sanchez. Ground ball hit hard and through. Gonzalez couldn't get the handle on it. It's 9-5 as Collier scores.
Ouch.
We'll await the ruling. Probably an error.
That's what I'm saying.
But Sitter's up either way.
He's got such an uncomfortable stance. He gets real low, real crouched, real close to the plate. This time he stands up a little more, but then he digs in. He gets there, he tries to squeeze the strike zone out of you and force you to put it in there, and then he's got a lot of ability to just kind of turn it. He's got great wrist movement, solid upper body strength, turns quicker than you might think, and just find a way.
No one misses out. Two and one is now the count. As Farmer's found some inconsistent pitches thus far. 3-1 now. Strike two.
Thought he had a walk. He's looking at his third base coach a lot for instruction.
Looking at the sign, that's Roosevelt Barnes, the head coach down there in that coach's box, and he bat flips the full count walk, excuse me.
Swag.
In Ohio, too.
Pitch hitter action here, too. Swag in Ohio? Well, we're in Chicago. That's in Illinois. But they're from Ohio.
They're from Ohio.
I mean, yeah, but they're not in Ohio. They're from Ohio. Swag from Ohio.
There we go.
I got the reference. Trust.
Craig Smith Jr., the pinch hitter, cuts and misses at strike one.
10. Cincinnati, if you can get to 10, you win this game. I guarantee it.
Hard hit, but just foul. That was almost 10 right there.
Probably what? Yard and a half away? 5 feet?
Give or take, yeah.
Maybe a little more.
It hooked a lot. Sitter leaning, and he's safe.
I think that's a spot if first baseman Sanchez can hold on to that ball. That's a tougher decision than you might have initially thought. Can't believe the leadoff Sitter has.
Runner breaks for third. Farmer was not looking. And now Sitter is trotting down to second. And he's safe there unless a balk was called.
Well, that's good base running from Sitter. Knows they can't go to second because guess who's going to go home? It's smart heads up stuff. Sitter, who was already halfway there, just can know he can slowly trot over because if you throw it, you're not in a good spot because my guy at third is going to go on home and make it a 10-5 game.
1 and 2, that one missed up and in. It was a stolen base indeed. The Reds dugout was shouting balk at first. I think they were just trying to fool the Kansas City infield. Over the top hanger. Didn't get enough of that vertical drop, 2 and 2.
And Farmer seems to have lost all his wind that he came in with. No juice to anything anymore. No pep in the step.
2-2. Got him. Dwayne Smith is out number 2. Both outs in this inning have come via way of the K. And up comes Evan Grammel. Grammel 0 for 2 with a walk. He came back in the 4th inning. In there for a strike. It's 0-1. In the top half of the 7th inning, Kansas City will send 2, 3, and 4 to the plate. Grammel to the opposite field. Williams dives and he got it. Or I beg your pardon, that was Staley to end the inning. We're going to the 7th. It's 9-5 Reds. They're up big. Top of the 7th there. Reds Nike RBI 3 outs away from an opening game victory here in the tournament. It would be of the come from behind fashion as well as Lomax misses inside. The catcher Calderon 0 for 1 with 2 hit by pitches today. Swings with a 1-0 and sends this one in the air to center. Gonzalez is there for out number 1.
Good start, 2 away, and Cincinnati. Not how you drew it up, not how you did it last year. You had a couple of comeback opportunities, you had a couple of come from behinds, but you were a dominant team. 3-1, just missed the final. Young team this year, new faces, same place, and you're just trying to get it done this year. And when you've got a young team, so important to get results like this, where you fight, you claw, you figure some stuff out in the moment after you started really slow.
Wyatt Coates is the pinch hitter here in the 7th inning. He's behind 0-2 quickly. He's in place of Suarez, who finishes his morning 1 for 3. 0-2 punched on the ground. Backhanded at short by Collier. Tough throw, but he got him. Oh, what a play.
Special. It's really good shortstop work, moving away to your left and moving into your left, rather, finding a way to scoop it up, have the time, launch it in. It's a good baseball play on the defensive side.
Navarro is Kansas City's last hope. He swings and pops the first pitch up. Collier enters the Bermuda Triangle and makes the catch. Kansas City and Cincinnati play a phenomenal game, but it's the Reds Nike RBI squad who comes back and takes game one on day two.
Yeah, how about it from the Reds? They fought, they clawed, they deserved that. They walked out of here with what they came for, a win on their opening result. So crucial, Kev. You gotta start from in the front. You can't lose that opening game. It's so hard to work your way back up from behind. It's just an uphill battle that you don't want to face. And to be down like they were, to put up 5 runs in the 5th, to drop 4 in the 6th, and win this game going away, it's a confidence booster that they know, hey, the bats are alive when we're awake. We just gotta be awake. We gotta be ready for it. We gotta be active. Kansas City, it's a good performance. It's a lot like last year. A lot of good stuff, but it's just missing by an inch or two here and there.
So Kansas City will get a second crack at it today at 5 p.m. Eastern when they will take on the Minnesota Twins Nike RBI side. Reds back in action at 2:30 Eastern when they will be the road team in a matchup against the Indianapolis Nike RBI side. Our next broadcast here on WCSN2, it will be the Indianapolis-Minnesota game starting at noon Eastern. We will take a quick break and we'll be right back. We have a special guest before we wrap up this first game here on the Windy City Sports Network. Welcome you back inside Curtis Granderson Stadium. That game is final, but we are very pleased to be joined by a very special guest. We have David James, who's the Vice President of Baseball and Softball Development for MLB. David, thank you so much for joining us here on the Windy City Sports Network. So I got to ask you, what does this experience of coming to Chicago and seeing the next crop and generation of baseball players mean to you?
Well, good morning to both of you, and thank you for the opportunity to have us here, host us for the Central Region Tournament. This is a phenomenal facility. I enjoy coming back here, always taking some pictures, but more importantly, these kids have the ability to play on this field at this particular, complex hosted by the Cubs. And obviously everybody wants to win and advance to the next round, but these are lifetime experiences for these young men and women, win or lose.
You say that, the experiences, the stuff like that this is a once-in-a-lifetime moment for them. How much of this is about making this the most beautiful thing that these players can ever experience?
That's a very good way of putting that together. Regardless of whether you win or lose, for these kids to have this type of opportunity to meet kids who look like them and love baseball and softball like they do. We see that a lot of friendships take place. Obviously, out of the commissioner's office, baseball, softball development, that's what we try to do, is grow the game. RBI, presented now by Nike, is one of the upper echelon of the programs, and everybody wants to advance to Jackie Robinson Training Complex and play in the World Series, but not everybody's going to do that. So, you know, there's opportunities for these kids as they make these connections. You have a lot of folks like the Cubs, the White Sox, ourselves out of the commissioner's office, that we're paying attention to these kids because we're starting to see this trend now that internships in the commissioner's office, internships with the other clubs, is going to these kids that have participated in baseball's program.
And you just brought up the new partnership with Nike. How does that move forward the RBI program and bring baseball together and united in more communities across the country?
Well, number one, we think, we know that the partnership with Nike is going to get more kids in the program. It is about playing the game for us. Obviously, this is the upper echelon, the competitive side, but we know that there are far more kids out there that are just looking for a place to play in their specific community, and they don't want to have to pay a ton to be able to do it. So this partnership with Nike is going to give more access in some of the communities that really need to play the most.
Is a city like Chicago and having the two teams, the White Sox RBI group, the Cubs RBI group, kind of a big deal for you guys to have two places, two teams, two operations running at the same time, where it's like, hey, this is a large place, a large metropolitan area. We can have two systems operating and give even more kids an opportunity like this?
Yes, absolutely. Both clubs here in this market do tremendous work. And again, I keep using this term access. The other thing that we're starting to see happen, obviously, we are year 2 of all of the minor league clubs being involved with us. And so a lot of this programming is going downstream to the minor league system so that there's more opportunities in some of these rural areas across the country to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to play. And we get this question about the cost. You know, sometimes when it's free, folks don't, appreciate it enough. But we also want to make sure that we talk about this a little bit, that if it's free, then mom's not going to be motivated to get him to go to practice. But if she paid $25 and he doesn't want to go, she's going to say, I paid $25, you're going to go to practice today.
All righty, well, we thank you so much for joining us, David. We appreciate all that you do for the RBI program as well as for Major League Baseball and baseball across the country. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having us, and thank you for hosting.
Thanks. We'll be right back here on the Windy City Sports Network. Thanks again to David James, the Vice President of Baseball and Softball Development for Major League Baseball. That's going to wrap up the morning game. The first of 5 is in the books here on the Windy City Sports Network. Our next broadcast here on the 18 baseball side comes up at noon Eastern, 11 Central. Indianapolis Nike RBI will take on Minnesota Twins Nike RBI. Again, that's at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central. In the meantime, over on WCSN 1, we have some 18U softball for you right now. And for our great crew and for Ryan Sikora, I'm Kevin Molander signing off from Curtis Granderson Stadium. We will see you at the top of the hour.